Welcome to the Invisible Strength podcast. Today, Chris and I are diving into the world of salmon with the one and only Gigi Ashworth, better known as Gigi Eats, the Salmon Queen. She crushes 12 pounds of salmon every week. She was on the Master Chef show with Gordon Ramsay, and she's a 2-time cookbook author. But Gigi's story goes way beyond her love of salmon. It's about resilience, creativity, and turning autoimmune challenges into fuel to chase her dreams. You're about to hear some surprising insights, clever food hacks, and some seriously funny moments from a woman who's redefining what healthy eating can look like. Gigi, welcome. We are fired up to have you here today.
Oh, I'm fired up as well. Thank you for having me.
So excited to have you join us, but your journey is absolutely fascinating. Can you start with how you struggled with food allergies and autoimmune conditions that fueled the start of your journey down this nutrition path?
Yeah. So when I was younger, actually, I'll back up to when I was born. My mom is a doctor and my father is food obsessed. So you mesh the two together and what do you get? Someone who loves food, but in the healthy space. That's me. However, until the age of 14, I was like, ooh, Pop-Tarts, ooh, candy, ooh, all the stuff. So I didn't really, think about nutrition. But then again, I feel like kids under the age of 10, I mean, obviously they need to know what a vegetable is and stuff like that, but let
Right.
them live a little bit. Anywho, so when I was 14, I actually went to boarding school for snowboarding. So I used to competitively snowboard in Colorado. And when I was
Awesome.
there, I started to actually take note of how my body felt because I had to hike the half pipe every day. It was a lot of strenuous exercise on my body. And I wasn't really used to that. Like I did track and field when I was a kid, but like whatever, not a big deal. So when that started happening and I started feeling kind of weird and funky, my mom, who actually has been practicing the ketogenic lifestyle ever since I was born, and I am not young, people, so it was a very long time. She basically introduced me to that lifestyle and was like, you know what, maybe you should try and cut out, grains and dairy and or blah, 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 blah. Insert food here. And she sent me this book, but there was no book jacket on it. And she was like, just read it. And so when I read it, it just made sense to me. And while I was at boarding school, unfortunately, it's kind of tricky to eat a ketogenic-esque lifestyle because they have to feed you whatever is on the menu. But luckily, there was this like restaurant pre-made food type place across the street. It was called Why Cook. And I always would go there and I'd get 8 meatballs. And it did make me feel substantially better, not eating the grains and the oats and so on and so forth. So from there, graduated out of this boarding school and I learned more about myself. And then I got a whole bunch of blood tests and allergen tests and stuff like that, which determined that I have ulcerative colitis and I have a lot of food allergies and intolerances. So it just made total sense that this lifestyle was working for me. And from there, I continued to learn and study about nutrition, how it affects your body, how everybody's completely different. So there's definitely no one size fits all. And like I have a vegan friend who literally, if she eats chicken or something, she'll vomit everywhere. So
Mm.
people who push like one lifestyle on everybody drive me crazy because I'm like, no, 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 no. We're all biologically so different. You have to be
Yeah.
your own guinea pig to figure out what is wrong with you or what's right with you. So I basically just treated myself like my own guinea pig and through my mom's information and knowledge and through my own research, I figured out what was the best route for me. And even so recently, my increase of salmon consumption has gone up because I am fully carnivore now. I will not, before I was like 98% carnivore because here and there I would have some green beans or asparagus or some butter lettuce, but I've completely cut all of that out because my stomach issues just, as you get older, you just kind of get worse. It's fun. And I just realized, and I've kind of known this my entire life, that vegetables, roughage, even though everyone claims them to be healthy, they're not necessarily healthy for everybody, including myself. And I feel 20,000 times better without them. Okay, but anyways, backing up, when I was 21, I had something called a cecal volvulus where my large intestine twisted into a knot. And so they had to remove my large intestine. And they don't really know why that happened, but I'm pretty sure it had something to do with ulcerative colitis and I might have eaten something that was tainted that, affected and aggravated my large intestine. From there, I just continued to study, to learn, to treat myself like a guinea pig, to figure out what was working for me and what wasn't. And then I started posting things on social media about health and nutrition, and people initially it was like I wanted to talk about celebrities and their like stupid fad diets because back in the
Mhm.
day that was like a thing. And then at the end of each video, the point would be, no, you just got to eat healthfully and regularly and not, fall for a fad diet like a cabbage soup diet. Like that's not going to be a long-term sustainable lifestyle. So
Right.
don't be stupid. But, some people like that quick fix. That being said, if you want to be healthy, it's got to be sustainable long term. Anywho, so I started doing that on a blog called Gigi Eats Celebrities. And then people were very interested in what my lifestyle was like because I started creating these videos where I was introducing things like Zevia. And this was literally 12, 13 years ago. So I was talking about stevia, I was talking about sugar-free, blah, 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 blah. All of these random quirky products that no one had ever heard of. I mean, I've been using stevia, that sweetener, since I was
Mhm.
11 years old. And back then it was like pretty much like on the black market kind of sold because the United States was like, I don't know what the heck this plant is. So my mom and I would get it from some, I'm not going to say, but anywho, so I was just introducing these new different products, kind of getting a little bit more of my audience a glimpse of who I am as a person, and they wanted to learn more about me. So I morphed my blog and stuff more into my lifestyle, my eating habits, and I started creating recipes because, as I mentioned earlier, my father's obsessed with food and he's an amazing French chef. So I sort of grew up in the kitchen helping him like cut onions and make donuts and that sort of thing. Now, don't ask me to make any pastries because girl doesn't know how. And when I was on MasterChef, I was like, oh my God, if I'm on this show long enough, I'm gonna have to make a pie. Excuse my French, but it's true.
Stress.
If I have to make a cake, I am so screwed and it's gonna be very embarrassing. Now, if you want to make a salmon cake, I've got you. So I just continued to make this blog or post blog posts, and I would post on YouTube, and then Instagram came to be, excuse me. But yeah, so then I just continued to create recipes, and I was honored to be noticed by, tourism boards of different countries, and they wanted me to go and experience their culture and showcase the fact that you can in fact eat allergen friendly ketogenic lifestyle esque in other countries. All you have to
Yeah.
do is navigate menus and ask questions. And, now we have our phones and we can just translate things really easily. And then obviously MasterChef reached out to me as well because they saw that I was the Salmon Queen because I have been eating a hefty amount of salmon since I was about 7 years old. I can get into that story later if you'd like. But yeah, I can just wrap it up there because here I am, the Salmon Queen.
Salmon Queen. So my first question for you is, you just talked about it, so we can't just leave the audience hanging. You said you've been eating a ton of salmon since 7 years old. Talking about like now up to about 12 pounds of salmon a week. Like walk us through that journey of when you realized like salmon was your thing, and what have you noticed about your health and energy since consuming that much salmon?
Yeah, the funny thing is salmon became my thing around the age of 7 because, excuse me, 7. I said salmon and 7 in the same word.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because my mom and dad made me salmon for dinner and I was pissed and I ran away from home. Literally spent the night outside in like
Goodness.
slept on a bench because I was trying to prove a point that I didn't want salmon for dinner. But
Yeah.
then I came home eventually and I ate some, so I was super hungry. And I was like, "Oh, good." So that's kind of when things started to, my affinity for salmon started to grow, and I
Mhm.
started to appreciate whole foods as opposed to packaged Pop Tarts and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Because my whole life, my parents were always pushing whole, healthy foods, making everything from scratch. So, like,
Uh-huh.
my siblings and I would have, like, I keep saying Pop Tarts because I just remember having those cinnamon ones or whatever they're
Ooh, those
flavor
the
that is.
brown sugar cinnamon,
Brown
whatever.
sugar one, yes, the
Yeah,
brown
yeah,
sugar.
yeah.
We would have them hiding in the freaking closet of our bedroom. We're like, "Who will eat this? Mom doesn't
Contraband.
know." And then we would like order pizza on Friday because my mom, as I mentioned, she's a doctor, so she was on call all the time. So she'd
Yeah.
be like out of the house. My dad worked around the clock too, so he was never home either. So we'd like order delivery pizza and hide it, but then whoops, we left the receipt on the floor because we're idiots. So then my mom would get that sort of thing. So anyway, my salmon affection, if you will, grew. But when I was in boarding school, we didn't really have salmon available. So
Right,
it
right,
kind of
right.
stopped when I was in boarding school. But after boarding
Mm.
school, I went home because I actually did, in fact, get really sick from when I learned I had all these food allergies and stuff. I kind of
Yeah.
stopped eating a bit because I was worried that things are going to make me
Sure.
more sick. So
Sure.
I definitely had a bout of anorexia, and they kicked me out of school because they didn't want to have me die on their walk. Whoops.
Oh, goodness.
So I went back home, and when I went back home, they were pushing for therapy, inpatient clinics, blah blah blah. But all I really wanted was to just like be at home and be able to control the food that I was eating and like make it right and make sure that it was going to fuel me well. So luckily, my mom loves eating healthfully too, so she had lots of salmon and lots of Chilean sea bass and stuff. Like I was definitely spoiled as growing up, and I feel like I am now because I get salmon all the time. I'm very appreciative though. And
No
so,
doubt.
that's when I started to really start to, I guess, experiment with salmon and make it a whole bunch of different ways. And like I mentioned, my dad is very much into cooking. So like he and I would make a whole bunch of seafood dishes because he loves seafood as well. That one recipe that I absolutely love is salmon baked with clam sauce over the top. It's just a whole other world of amazing. And I need to remake that and just post it online 'cause it's so good. And so anyway, so that's kind of when it started. And then when I went to college,
Mhm.
I had access to those Asian markets that have salmon belly and salmon skin and salmon fillets that were like $9 a pound as opposed to 15.
Right.
Everybody knew me at Whole Foods, and the guy at the prepared food section would actually give me free salmon all the time. I think he got fired, but he would give it really nice. I mean, I don't know if he was, like, trying to slip his number in there too, because he definitely was a little bit short, but Imma take the free salmon, that's cool.
For
But that's
sure.
also when I really started to incorporate it more in my life because I was on my own and able to choose everything I wanted. Yeah, so then it just kept progressing, and here I am now. I even eat more than 12 pounds of salmon a week. I eat like about 14 now,
Oh,
just
come
because,
on.
without any vegetables, I got to fill in the gaps. I got to have a
Yeah.
side of salmon with my salmon.
Yeah, because I'm wondering, are you talking like breakfast, lunch, dinner, or like snacks? Like you're just kind of noshing on salmon all throughout the day? Like, what's your like salmon strategy?
My salmon strategy.
Yeah.
I actually eat only 2 meals a day. I
Okay.
do that like 18-6 fasting sort of thing.
Oh,
So
got you, got you, got you,
usually
got you.
eat around 11 and around 5 or 6. And it's just two big meals. And like
Yeah.
today I had salmon, like a salmon fillet, and then I had salmon
Mhm.
skin with it. I might have thrown a little bit of cooked oysters in there because I'm a weirdo and I really like them from the can. And I was trying to clean things out of my pantry so I could buy more stuff.
Yeah.
But then at night, I'll usually have more salmon skin and salmon fillet. I like the different parts of salmon, and when I have like skin and then a fillet and then belly, it makes me feel like I have a variety of food. So like
Mhm.
I don't miss anything. I don't want anything else except that like I eat something called carnivore snacks, which is like beef brisket and ribeye and stuff, but it's all dehydrated meat. So it's like
Oh, okay.
these chips. And so sometimes eat that as like a side, and it's just it works. I feel like I have a balance, which any omnivore would be like, excuse me, that's not a
Yeah.
balanced plate. But
Right,
for
right.
me personally, it is, and it
Yeah.
works.
Super interesting. I want to go back and touch on how for a while you were scared to eat. How
Mhm.
did you navigate social situations after you went back to college and integrated back into that social scene?
Yeah, no, yeah, it's interesting because when I went from boarding school, I actually had one more year of high school I had to complete. So the interesting thing is I went from I went to boarding school when I was in 8th grade. So 7th grade, 6th grade, fourth grade, all those grades, I knew the
Uh-huh.
same people. And then I had to go back to those people for my senior year of high school. So they
Mm-hmm.
knew me a specific way. And then when they saw me again, they were terrified because I was really skinny. I wasn't eating the things that they were eating. I wasn't partaking in the activities that they were partaking in. So that 1 year was really challenging for me just because I was a huge outcast.
Mm-hmm.
But I also sort of put that upon myself because when you're in this anorexic mentality, all you're thinking
Mm-hmm.
about is the food you're eating, whether or not you're going to feel good, how skinny you are, all of those
Yeah.
things. You're
Yeah.
not really thinking about the people that are surrounding you. And if you do think about them, it's very fleeting because my mentality was such: go to school, get your work done, go home and hang out with your parents. Like my parents became my best friends, which is not a bad thing. Your parents are great. What's really nice is before I went to boarding school, I was an a-hole. I didn't appreciate my parents. I didn't appreciate what I had or anything like that. And then boarding school completely changed my mentality, and I will never regret them sending me off to boarding school. Um, my senior year, I was able to start fresh at college. Starting fresh was the perfect solution for me because I could be myself again. And this is the first time anyone ever met me. And they're like, oh, that's Gigi. That's Gigi's personality. That's who she is. And I'm the type of person that owns everything that she has, embodies everything. So, like my food allergies, my digestive issues, my food quirks, if you will, I come out right up front and I say, I have some food allergies. So if we're going out to eat, well, guys, you're going to hear me make some modification on the fucking menu. Like, it's just life. That's it. I'm not embarrassed to admit it. This is who I am. And if you don't want any part of that, well, then you're not going to hang out with me because this is just kind of part of my life. Like the
Mm-hmm.
first thing I told my husband when I met him is, can you handle digestive issues? Because if you can't, you might want to stop talking to me right now. So that would always be my number one tip in regard to navigating this whole the food issues that you have. And I'm like, just own it. And at the same time, don't make it a big deal. Because at the end of the day, you know what you're doing for yourself. And if other people are questioning it, just simply say, I've got some food allergies, gotta modify things. Let's move on. Now,
Yeah.
sometimes people will ask multiple questions and I will respond nicely because at the end of the day, I am educating myself every single day in regards to how to live healthfully and what works for me. And feel great. And I want other people to feel great too. So if they want to know all about salmon, which is what I do, I'm going to tell them. And if they want to know all about eating, less carbohydrates and more protein and high quality fat, I'm going to tell them. I'm never going to ever get angry at somebody or embarrassed or anything like that for somebody asking questions. And if they judge me for having these issues, I really don't give a flying fart. Like I really don't care. I do not care what people think because I'm this is the only me I got. And if you can't accept who I am, you can move along. Yeah.
I was wondering about, because you talked about omnivores, and I think about as you were saying that. I don't know if it was like a Saturday morning cartoon. But I just like saw the plate with like the three sections and on the
Yes,
plate, and
I
just
see it in my brain too.
you know what I'm talking right. So we have been taught about a balanced plate, balanced plate. Like I went to a plant-based diet myself about 6 years ago, and
Wow.
people have been like, "Yo, you're just eating plants. Like, how are you gonna survive?" So I'm on the other side of the
Yeah.
situation, but can see similarities. What would you say have been some of the biggest misconceptions you've encountered when people see you eating all parts of the salmon, from the rooter to the tutor? Like, counter.
Everyone thinks I'm gonna die of mercury poisoning. And
Mm, mhm.
another thing is I exclusively eat farm raised salmon, which, oh
Okay.
gosh, guys, it's the devil. Whoa.
Mhm.
But it's not. And I am like on a journey or a quest to vindicate farm salmon because it is not the devil it once was. Now, I'm not going to
Mm,
speak for every single farm out there because I'm sure there's still farms out there that aren't practicing the most humane things. But
yeah.
the salmons that are, excuse me, the salmon that I eat are from farms that I truly trust. Now,
Mhm.
I'm not gonna lie, like I go out to eat sushi and I go out to restaurants that sometimes I don't know where this farm salmon is coming from, but I'm
Yeah.
not gonna stress out about it because at the end of the day, how many vices can one have? And let me be real, I don't really have any vices. I literally eat salmon like Okay. I drink Monster Energy drink, the sugar-free ultra. That's like another one of my vices, but honestly, it's my lifeline. So I don't care. There are certain things that I'm just like, you know what? I'm eating so healthfully. My blood tests are indicating that I am, in fact, very healthy.
Hmm.
That, here I am, like, I'm going to eat that sashimi from the sushi restaurant, even if I don't exactly know where it came from. But I'm also not eating
Uh-huh.
at shitty sushi restaurants. Like, I'm not eating at back alley Sushi Joe's that also serves up cheeseburgers and look, there's a burrito that they scooped off the floor. Like, that's not where I'm gonna go. And if people are eating gas station sushi, then you should be a little concerned about what that is. So yeah. So the biggest misconception though is the mercury.
Yeah,
Salmon
yeah.
is very low in mercury, especially farm raised salmon. And the greatest
Okay.
thing about farm raised salmon is it's monitored so much that they know exactly what's in it. They know exactly if it's sick, if it's not sick, how much mercury it has, how much omega-3 fatty acids it has. It knows exactly what it's eating. Like, they literally monitor this around the clock. Whereas wild salmon, what are you eating? I don't know, because you're wild. I'm not monitoring you. I have no idea. You could be eating a fucking tin can. Like, who knows? Because the water is saturated with garbage these days. So I'm very passionate about this. So it drives me crazy when they're like, oh my God, farmer salmon is so gross. Because they saw one video where a salmon had, like, its flesh was kind of eaten away. And they said, oh, farm raised salmon is toxic. It's dying. Well, also realize that was a planted video because someone was angry in the company and they wanted to showcase one sick salmon that, guess what, was going to be taken care of, and none of the other salmon were sick. Like, it just, there's so many politics everywhere in every single
Mm,
industry, and people don't pay attention to politics in every single industry.
right.
They just read headlines on Yahoo or Google or whatever where it says farm raised salmon is bad. That's it. They don't read
That's
anything
it.
else. And the funniest part is, as you know, I eat 1,000,000 pounds of salmon. And I got my blood work done just recently where it
Hmm.
tested my omega-3 fatty acids and omega fatty acids. And a lot of people proclaim that farm raised salmon is higher in omega-6 fatty acids versus omega-3 fatty acids.
Yeah.
However, my blood tests indicate that I actually need to be eating some omega-6 fatty acids. So, like,
Come
everyone's
on.
telling everybody to not eat seed oils. I'm over here like, do I need to be drinking corn oil right now to balance this out? Because my omega-3s are so high compared to my omega-6,
Omega
which
6.
you want a balance of like a 1-to-1 ratio. 2-to-1 is okay as well.
Mm,
But, like, a lot of people have a 16-to-1, as in their or their omega-6 fatty acids are all the way up here, which are not good for you. It's like
yeah.
the seed oils and plant oils and stuff like that. Although avocado oil is good, and some olive oils are good too. But, like, the omega-3s are so down because people are scared to eat fish or they don't know how to cook fish, which is
Right.
why I'm here to sort of educate people on, fish is not a scary thing to be cooking because it's so easy. Yeah, you might burn it once or twice, especially when you first are introduced to it, but you get the
Hmm.
hang of it real quick if you want to. If you don't
Oh, for
want
sure.
to, then forget about it. You're just going to go
Right.
eat your ramen or something, like, whatever. But that's my lot in life, to sort of educate people that, the mercury content in salmon is super low. Even if I eat 14 pounds a week, I don't even hit the limit that the FDA claims is acceptable.
Mm,
I've done the math. I wrote it in my cookbook, Seduced by Salmon. Like, I have made sure that I have all of the information to spew at people when they're like, a mercury, what's going on there? And
yeah.
I took a mercury blood test too. I'm waiting for the results. I'm very intrigued to see, but I don't have any of those symptoms that people claim are, you got mercury poisoning.
Mhm.
So I think I'm great.
That's amazing. And I'll say some of the recipes that I've seen look really good to eat. One recipe that I'm curious about is this salmon skin tacos. So you're cooking the skin and just like it's a crunchy taco? Like, how does this
Uh,
go down?
It's funny because I buy salmon skin from a place called Yama Seafood. You can also get it from H Mart, depending on where you are. And I just pan fry it on the stove. And I was just eating it on I eat off my skillet because I'm like, I don't want to dirty a plate. So I was eating it off my skillet one day and I had some other salmon and, like, sardines, whatever. And I just started, like, wrapping it up in the little in the salmon skin, eating it. And I'm like, look at my little burrito. So I was like, well, that got me thinking I should be making a recipe. So I actually made this recipe for my cookbook, but I also made it for Gordon Ramsay and his other celebrity chef, one of the judges. And so I made spicy spicy salmon poke in a salmon skin taco shell. Now, I was trying to make it a taco shell because that's what my recipe was. But unfortunately, they didn't have the taco shell things and they didn't have the air fryer that I needed. So I was like, you know
Ah,
what? It's gonna be tostadas because we got a time crunch. It's 45 minutes, guys. Like we gotta get going
yeah.
here. And they loved it. So on MasterChef, they showcased everybody as hating it. But that's I'm so sorry. My husband texted me. But anyways, they showcased the fact that or they showcased everybody not liking it because it's TV, guys. They want drama,
Of
and
course.
I'm the salmon queen. So they wanted to kick the salmon queen off for salmon dish. Like it just makes perfect TV.
Hmm.
But what people didn't see is when you're judged, you have like 45 minutes to an hour. He's sending me video pictures, and I literally told him I was on this call. Anyway, so you have like 45 minutes of judging. And throughout that process, obviously they're eating, you guys are talking one on one. Like for the longest time, we were talking about my inner mouth tattoo that says salmon. Everyone was talking about what tattoo they would get and so on and so forth. And they all had it. The only person who didn't like it because there was too much sesame oil was Joe. And you know what? It is what it is. I'm not going to say that I make recipes that every single person on this planet loves,
Of
but
course.
I loved it. And I even said to them, if you're not going to finish that, can I have it? Because I'm very hungry right now. So it was just a fascinating thing. But like that is kind of when I was like, well, you know what? Like salmon skin taco shells are just the perfect vehicle. And
Mm.
it's not cheese. So if people are allergic to cheese because they've been doing like keto taco shells of like cheese, you can
Oh,
use
okay.
salmon skin. So the recipe that I just posted, I used a salmon called Lac du Art salmon. It's one of my favorite farm raised salmons out there. And it's such an easy, simple recipe that like looks super elegant. And then it's got the crunch factor. It's got the sweetness and smoothness from the raw salmon in there. It kind of just has all of the components and flavor profiles that like you're kind of looking for. Now, if you hate fish, then you're definitely not looking for that.
Sure.
Looking at you, Chris. I don't think you're going to be eating the salmon skin taco.
Well, you know what? My family, they love, like my wife earlier said she's going to the store to get some salmon. The kids love salmon, so I will support them from a distance. I'll have my bowl of quinoa or whatever I'm gonna have, but the salmon love is in the house, just not on
You
my
could
plate.
get
You know what I mean?
get some jicama, and then put your
Uh-huh.
quinoa in there, and then you can have a little taco yourself.
I see. Yeah, I support them from, I'll be cheering them on the sidelines,
Yes, I get it.
For sure. But, thinking about dishes, if you could have just one salmon dish for the rest of your life, like the one that you're just like, this is my jam, which salmon dish would that be for you?
Oh, it's definitely just pan frying salmon skin. I eat it every single day. It's either lunch or dinner or both. It like has to be like on Thanksgiving. I'm literally going to be pan frying salmon skin to have next to my turkey. Like I need it every day. If I don't have salmon in a day, which is very rare, and it's usually if I'm like on a road trip and we're in the middle of nowhere and I only brought my meat chip snacks, I don't feel like myself. I'm like,
Got
I
you.
need something. So yeah, it's really just that salmon skin. It's the most amazing thing because there's a little bit of meat on the skin. So like I get that feeling like I'm eating the salmon meat, but then I chew. I bite into the skin and it's really crispy. And
Mhm.
then it's super fatty. So you catch me over next to my pan licking it when I'm done because I am an animal. And I want no fat left behind. Like, I got to get all my omega 3s because apparently, I
Right.
need them.
You brought up something that resonates with me too, though. When you're traveling on the road, because for me, when I'm trying to be plant-based on the road, it's very, very difficult, right? And
Exactly.
so what are you doing? Are you just like finding every Whole Foods in whatever city you're going to? Like, how are you making it work?
I plan in advance. So I'll
Mhm.
probably cook salmon before I leave and have it in the car.
Makes sense.
And it really depends on how long the car ride is. So like I might cook two fillets and realize, okay, one's for lunch, one's for dinner. I also have my meat chip bags that I will just eat out of because I get the dehydrated chicken and brisket and ribeye,
Hmm.
sometimes lamb and stuff like that. So I'm just kind of I have that variety. But I always plan in advance. And or I
Got
might
you.
go on the map and be like, okay, where's a Whole Foods or what restaurant could we all go to? Because, I have two boys and my husband who don't eat the way that I do. So, like, where could we all go? Which is great. And, if they want to go get burgers, totally fine. If there's like a
Hmm.
poke place next door, totally fine. I can pop in there. They can go get their burgers real quick. And the nice thing is, my family, when we're on the road, like, we're not going to sit down at a restaurant. We're like going to get things fast and get back in the car. So, and my husband likes salmon, so like sometimes I'll be like, "How about this poke stop?" So I can just get raw salmon. And he's like, "Yeah, that's cool," because then he'll just get a little bowl thing himself. So it's never been an issue at all. And also the nice thing is my husband is very understanding. So like if
Sweet.
we have a pit stop or an overnight stay in a random place, the next day he'll be like, let me know where, the closest grocery store is so we can go and you can get some food.
Hmm.
And sometimes it's a Safeway, sometimes it's Albertsons or whatever your
Yeah, yeah,
local
yeah.
grocery store is called. And I'll go in there and I'll get canned fish. I'll get canned sardines, canned mackerel. I don't necessarily
Hmm.
get canned salmon unless it's packed in olive oil and it's this one brand, King Oscar is really good. Because
Got you.
I need fish that has oil with it. I can't get it in water. It's disgusting. So,
Yeah.
if carnivores are watching this and they're like, oh my God, you're not a carnivore because you're eating something with olive oil. Yeah, well, you know what? This lifestyle works for me. So I'm going to just do the Gigi way. Okay. I won't call it carnivore. I'll call it the Gigi way. There we go.
So the carnivores can be judgy because I know that's a stereotype about vegans too, G. So the
I mean, I'm
carnivores are
not gonna
judgy
lie, like
too?
hardcore carnivores are like hardcore vegans. It's insane. It's like calm
It's a
down.
circle.
Everybody calm down. But then there are people who claim to be carnivore and they're eating fruit and they're eating honey. And I'm like, what? Now you're just confusing people. At least
Yeah.
with me, like I'll say I eat 98% carnivore. I will never say I'm 100% carnivore purely because that olive oil, oh my goodness, sorry.
Yeah.
Or my Monster energy drink, can't get that one in the fucking wild.
Yeah.
Imagine if I was out there. Oh, there's my monster, and I got to shoot it. Like there it is. Yeah,
That's
lassoed
amazing.
that baby in.
That's amazing.
So I chew sugar-free gum. That is another one of
Okay.
my vices. And
Got you.
once again, those carnivores out there in the wild, they're not going to be chewing gum. Although there's like a mastic gum, I guess they could chew on. So
Oh,
anyway, yeah.
wow.
I just love your don't care attitude. You're doing what you need to do to take care of your health. Earlier, you had mentioned how just being upfront, whether it's going to restaurants or out with friends, like, this is what I'm going to be doing. Like, you do you, I'm going to do my thing. And then, as well as you being planful about going on road trips and planning ahead, your family can do their own thing, but you have to do what's best for you. I
Yeah.
appreciate each of those points because a lot of times with these custom diets, they can feel very isolating. You can feel like you're missing out on stuff because you're not enjoying whatever
Yeah.
maybe the rest of your family's eating on Thanksgiving dinner. But your personal responsibility approach, I want to highlight because this
Yeah.
doesn't have to be a painful process if we kind of reframe how we're thinking about doing what's best for ourselves.
Absolutely. It's all about mentality. And I
Hmm.
have to admit, I feel like I was born with my mentality of just, who cares? This is who I am. You deal with
Yeah.
it or you move along. And when it comes to quote unquote missing out on things, number one, I don't crave anything except salmon. Literally every day, every moment, I'm like
Wow.
salmon, 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 salmon. Like I literally like macaroni and cheese, like, no, thank you. Like I do not care. So I was blessed with that. I definitely don't have a sweet tooth. I've never had a sweet tooth. So I was blessed with that as well because I know a lot of
Yeah.
people like love chocolate and stuff like that. Thanksgiving food all looks disgusting to me. I'll eat turkey, but turkey actually makes me feel really sick. So I'll eat it and then I'll feel sick the next day. I'm like, why don't I do that? But I like if I'm going to eat turkey, I like everybody to carve off their pieces. And then I take that big carcass and I just pick the meat off the carcass and I'll take the Pope's nose, which is basically the ass of the turkey, and I'll eat that and I'll eat the neck and I'll eat the gizzards and stuff like that because I'm weird and I'm probably making you guys gag a little bit, but that's what I do. So I don't feel sad if people are going out to the bar and they're like, "Hey, let's go get the nachos." Number 1, I don't drink. Number 2, I don't want to eat nachos. And number 3, like going out to a bar in the evening does not interest me even a little bit. So those aren't my people. I'm a
Yeah.
morning person. I get up at 2:30 in the morning every day. I work out. I get work done. I bring my kids to school. I go to the gym. I do cardio at home and then I go to the gym to lift weights afterward. And I just have so much energy from 2:30 in the morning until about 7 o'clock at night. And then I'm like, I'm done. Like, I'm not going to happy hour or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Granted, I'm going out to dinner tonight, but it's with one of my best friends who knows exactly how I eat and she accepts me 110%. And if you can't meet people who don't accept you for who you are, they are not your people. And you need to move on and you have to stop trying to people please and instead just
Mhm.
be you. And those people who like you will gravitate towards you.
That's so good. That's so good. Because I love that because I feel like that's just like such a universal challenge of everyone trying to understand who they are and then trying to understand who they are in the context they're in. But you have this confidence about if I'm true to myself, I will find the people who resonate with this. Because obviously we
Exactly.
can't.
Yeah, like, I just moved to Scottsdale, Arizona, and I have met a couple of people, and they've all been very, very nice, very
Uh-huh.
nice women, whatever. But like, I just didn't feel like they were my people, and that's not a
Yeah.
problem. Who cares? No big deal. You just
Yeah.
move on. You keep kind of friend dating or whatever. But also, my husband was like, "Oh, why don't you go to this little friendsgiving that our interior designer, because we're renovating our house, so we have one of those." Which is
Hmm.
a first. I'm like, "Oh, this is weird." But she invited us to like a friendsgiving thing, and I was like, "Oh, I don't really want to go to that. Not gonna lie." And my husband was like, "You don't want to make friends?" And I'm like, "Here's the thing. I just my gut is telling me the type of people at this party aren't necessarily going to be my types of people. I have a very
Yeah.
specific type of people, and I don't know. They just gotta be. They gotta. What do I want to call it? They gotta accept my weird quirks. And
Hmm.
so far, I feel like people have more looked at me like, what? Like, that's fine. You have your own type of people. I've got my own type of people, and that's just kind of how life is. I'm never gonna cry about it. I'm never gonna be offended. I'm never going to get mad at those people. Truly don't care. Everybody is their own person. They're allowed to do whatever they want, including their
Hmm.
eating habits and all of that. And, as I said, the right people will come.
Yeah. If I may, I want to ask you about discipline because especially with something like food, it's so easy for you talked about being at the bar, just the nachos are here, I'll eat the nachos. I'm at a restaurant, they brought the bread out, I'll just eat the bread. Like, talk to me about the way in which you've sort of maintained your discipline about food, because it's one thing to enjoy the food, but it's another thing to have the sense of like, this is how I'm going to live, and choosing to get up at 2:30 and having such a routine. How do you think about the way in which you've maintained your discipline?
You know how you brush your teeth in the morning and night? And it's like, no, that's just a thing that just happens. That's me with literally everything that I do in my life. Well, my routine structure, if I don't have that much, but it's, I'm always going to wake up at 2:30 in the morning. I'm always going to work out first thing in the morning. And I'm always going to eat the way that I eat just because it's like, I don't even think about it. It's a thing. Like I'm a robot in that respect. People think that I'm literally a robot. And I'm okay with that because I personally like my mentality. I like my dedication and I respect myself. And through me respecting myself, I give time for myself. There's so many mothers out there that give their all to their children and their spouse and give nothing to themselves. Thus, they then lose their identity and they're super depressed. They hate
Real.
themselves, they gain weight or XYZ throughout whatever it is. And it's heartbreaking to see because it's you look at these people and you're like, this is the result of you not thinking you're good enough. And I think I'm good enough. So I think
Yeah.
I deserve the things that I give myself. And I think those women deserve the things that they're not giving themselves and they need to. But You need to go get a massage. You need to really dedicate some time to yourself every single day, whether it be 10 minutes or an hour. But like, trust me, in order for you to be the best for your family, you need to be the best for
Yeah.
yourself. But the
Real.
problem is if that wasn't their light bulb moment, they ain't gonna change. So it's tricky. You want to help someone so badly, but at the end of the day, the only person that can help them is themselves.
Yeah.
So, I feel really bad for therapists and stuff because they get their clients in every week or month or whatever, and they're complaining about
Mm-hmm.
the exact same thing because they haven't had that light bulb moment yet.
Yeah.
And, if they keep going to that same therapist and they're never going to get that light bulb moment, it might be time to change the therapist, honestly. As much as that therapist was trying to help, it has nothing to do with the therapist, just the light bulb moment wasn't there. Now,
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie, I kind of was born with this light bulb moment of, I don't care, I'm just doing me. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, ever since I was a little girl, I wanted to be an actress, and look at me, look at me. Hence why, I went on the internet so early in my life. I also realized when I was in boarding school, when snowboarding sort of stopped, because I actually experienced a lot of death. A lot of my teammates and stuff passed away. And my mom, she goes, "What happens when you get hurt or when you die?" And I'm like, well, I die, so there's that. But it really put things into perspective. That was my light bulb moment of maybe snowboarding competitively isn't necessarily the best thing for me. Maybe it
Mm-hmm.
is something in the entertainment world, but I am not an actress. Trust me, my husband can tell you that because he's an actor. He's like, oh my God, don't. Just don't. I'm not offended by that at all. But I am not an actress. I can only act like myself. So I went the route of TV host. So that's why I moved to Los Angeles after I went to college in Colorado, because I wanted to be an entertainment reporter. Because
Mm-hmm.
I was like, ooh, celebrity lives, that's fun. But I realized very quickly that I don't care about celebrities even a little bit. But I do love being on camera and hosting. But when I moved to LA, they weren't ready for this type of personality. They wanted very cookie cutter. Hello, everybody. I am on the red carpet here at the Oscars. And that's not who I am. So it was tricky for me to get hosting jobs. Plus, when I moved to LA, I looked very young. Like I looked like I was 15. So they also won't take that seriously.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's just, I'm blessed to have the mentality that I do. I appreciate it very much. And if I could give what I have to other people so they feel confident in their skin and not care about what people think, I would, because it's
Yeah.
it's been an invaluable thing for me. And I think that it helps me thrive in life. And yeah.
I agree, Gigi. And I think just by you sharing your story today will help people understand about personal responsibility and building that resilience despite whatever health challenges they may be going through. You accomplished a lot already and are a ball of energy. What does the next 6 months, a year look like for you? What are you hoping to accomplish?
Retiring. So as I mentioned, we're like knee deep in renovations right now. And one thing that we're doing is we have a home next to the main home where we're completely gutting it. And I'm making my own studio kitchen in there. So I can really get back in the kitchen and really start creating more recipes. When we were in Georgia prior to Arizona, I kind of lost my luster for a minute. And I feel like it had something to do with the environment and stuff like that. But we're completely redoing that. So I plan on getting back in the kitchen, creating more recipes, coming up with another cookbook. Hopefully more travel is on my radar so I can really help people again figure out the right approach for them when it comes to eating healthfully abroad. And I just love showcasing the experiences because I love to have fun wherever I go. The fun doesn't always happen after 8 p.m. Sometimes it happens at 2:30 in the morning when you wake up. And I'm the type of person that's very last minute. So tomorrow I could book a job and go to Tokyo, and I would do it. I don't really plan anything just because my husband does. We can't really plan anything either because since he's an actor, he might get a call tomorrow saying that we have to move to New York City. And I'm like, okay, let's go. So I can't totally have things set in stone. But I love that
Mhm.
lifestyle. I think it's great. I think it's fun. I think it's exciting. And it's also a blessing. And yeah, so hopefully you see a lot of fun things next year. I have been trying to create some food product. And believe it or not, running into roadblocks multiple times over, but it'll happen at some point. I promise.
It will for sure. And can you tell
Mhm.
people where to find you on socials?
Yeah, you can just find me at Gigi Eats, Gigi Eats, on Instagram. And then TikTok, it's what Gigi eats, because I had Gigi Eats and then someone hacked in my account and stole it and did something to it. So I don't know. So I had to
Yikes.
start fresh there. Yay. But yeah, I mean, you just write Gigi Salmon in Google and you'll find me.
You can find the Salmon Queen pretty easily. She's out there. Gigi, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm honored that you guys wanted me as one of your guests.
You're fantastic. And Chris, thank you as always for being here.
No, always a joy to be here and kick it with y'all for sure.
Until next time, take care of yourself and be sure to check out the description for the Gigi Eats handles and other Invigorate resources. Take care and peace.